Judgment here. On last night's stream, Wednesday the 11th of November 2020, Merida, the self-found Boazon, completed the game by defeating Bale at hell level. One aspect of this is that throughout the 3 levels she did not suffer any deaths, something I was unable to achieve with either Ermin the Wind Druid or Nereza the Traps Assassin. She is currently level 89, and the intention is at this stage is to play her through as a self-found character until level 90 and then start giving her gear after that. So before these gear alterations take place, I thought I'd show you what she had at the end of hell level. The weapon, Passion Matriarchal Bow. The surprise to me here was how good the hit blinds target works. Extremely effective in keeping the character safe. The helm, the same Natalia helm that dropped in Nightmare level in lower Cuirass. The amulet, the same one from normal level. Boots are the Gore Riders that Bale dropped in Nightmare Quest drop. The belt, the Merida belt also from Nightmare level in lower Cuirass. Gloves are those crafted bow and crossbow bow skills magic fine gloves. The 2 rings, the same Nagel ring from normal level and the same dual leech ring that Fasto dropped in Nightmare level. The armour, there were a few disappointments here, but I went for as high a resistance as I could find after a number of socketing attempts, all of which produced either the wrong number of sockets or the correct number of sockets with a low base defence. This 2-socket maximum defence Scarab Husk dropped, and we're able to get the Smoke Rune Word in that. On switch, the Cuckoo Shikaku Cedar Bow, principally for its fire damage. By the end of hell level, I was not using that weapon a great deal, though I'm yet to patrol around the Worldstone Keep levels, and it may be more useful there. The charms, 2 with hit recovery, in combination with the Smoke Rune Word there, that gets to a total of 36, which is past the 32 breakpoint. The same 2 crossbow skillers from Nightmare level, lower Cuirass, and 3 resistance grand charms, and the small charms are just resistance charms with some magic fine, cold damage and some other mods added in, and it produces these total statistics. She has too many points in strength. It's 97 points without the gear. The other 13 strength comes from the Natalia helm. We put points into strength to get to 110 to equip a ballista. That isn't necessary. I think the maximum strength item on the character now would be the Gore Riders at strength 94. Dexterity up to 193 to equip the Matriarchal Bow, but there were another 6 points came in from those gloves there. We still have 33 stat points remaining. I would think they're probably best allocated as a mix of vitality and dexterity. The mercenary Durga has a vampire gaze, which dropped from an armour stand lower Cuirass in hell level. Treachery Dust Shroud. Merida found I think 4 Lem runes during the course of her trip through all 3 levels, so I've put one of them there, and the other one went into the Passion Matriarchal Bow, and there is Durga's weapon at the end of hell level. I was unable to find either an ethereal polearm or spear or a suitable base for a rune word like Honour or Passion. In the stash, teleport amulet made from the old Heraldric cube formula of 3 rings combined to give an amulet. That amulet there, which we have used in place of this one in more dangerous situations where we need the run, walk and the lifesteal. That ring there, only rarely used, but note the big burst of lightning resistance. I don't think I've used that ring at all, but I've kept it for this sizable boost of resistance. With that ring on, Merida's resistance would nearly be maximised for fire, lightning and cold. Nature's Peace, that drop from the Grand Vizier's pack in hell level, that's been extremely useful in the pit and also against Bale's second wave. That ring I've yet to use, but I've kept it because it has 10% lifesteal. For extra magic find, Merida found the Tel Rasha armour in lower Cuirass, and that's put on principally just to run the pit. When that armour is put on, the magic fine doubles, cold lightning and fire resistance drop by about 10 compared to the smoke rune word, but poison drops by 50. That's not too much of a problem in the pit. I'll mention the skills here. When I established Merida, the idea was to play a character that was most unlike anything I'd done before. I was given appropriate warning about how difficult running a self-found boazon would be, and that proved to be the case. I have maximised freezing arrow, put additional points into ice arrow for freeze length and cold arrow for damage. Strafe is the main damage contributor. I've put additional points into magic arrow, and any extra will probably now go into guided arrow. I've upped magic arrow to the point where it doesn't cost any mana. Nothing in javelin and spear skills. Points into the prerequisites to get to Valkyrie, which I've put up to level 17, where she gets her best gear. And additional points into critical strike, penetrate and pierce. So pierce has a 49% chance there, and the critical strike there in conjunction with the Gore Riders gives approximately a 50% chance of doing double damage. Now it's not a particularly powerful build, but then it is totally self-found, so we'll have a quick go at some of the pit. Alright, we're in the pit here. Now against the Bone Warriors, basically you've got to wait for the mercenary to knock them down, or hope they're mixed in with the other monsters where you can steal the life and mana back. And the thing you've got to notice here is the hit blind's target. It really does keep the character safe, but there is no way knowing. This can be any way described as a powerful build. Okay, here's a unique, but with this one we know Stone Skin. We'll know this one will at least respond to life and mana steal. And so it's not really a problem. There's not a lot of life and mana steal on the character. The only life steal is from that ring, and the mana steal is from the belt and that ring as well. So now it's guided arrow. We can use freezing arrow here, not too often because the mana use is prodigious. At this point, we go home and swap in Nature's Peace and leave that in the cube for the rest of the pit run, because we'll be using it again in level 2. Don't find the strafe lock to be too much of a problem, but I keep on thinking if I had a really high damage bow, multi-shot might be better. There's a Grand Charm I'll have a look at. Okay, but here's the only shaman encampment, so we need Nature's Peace on to deal with them. Now we can use Frozen Arrow a little bit more effectively here. So it's basically 3 or 4 shots of Frozen Arrow. Before you run out of mana, you have to steal it back. Oh, and there's the rip hook. That's one she's already found. We will at least have a look at that. That's one I did consider upgrading. This is the bow that we used to defeat Duril in Hell level. It's now Sunday the 15th of November, and during yesterday's stream Merida has advanced to about 96% of the way towards level 90. The Bale Waves appear to offer the most experience, but we've not been running her onto Bale himself. We've been stopping at the end of Lister's pack and tackling all the Bale Waves in Players 3 mode, and that's proved quite demanding. We have been looking for Mal, Gull or Vex runes, and the reason is that I would like to up the quality of a weapon, probably starting with the rune word Silence. She has found a 6-socket superior Crusader bow, then moving on to Call to Arms because she's found an Ohm rune, and then finally a Wind Force. When I do play a build, I often like to have some builds that are not using extremely high-end gear. On yesterday's stream, she found the Mage Wrath rune bow in the same Shaman encampment area in the pit level 1 that you've just seen. That's meant a change in tactics. You can now use Frozen Arrow more often on the Passion rune word bow, and then swap to the Mage Wrath and use the massive mana steal to gain the mana back virtually instantly. The Mercenary's weapon was changed yesterday. The old man in the D2 pointed out to me that Malice is a possible rune word to use in a 3-socket ethereal base, and that's been a small but significant improvement to the damage he does. And for much of yesterday's stream he was using the Husoldal Evo Bector Corbin, but when we give him gear I assume we'll finish up there with a Reaper's Toll. Now the main decision here is, do we give her gear at level 90 or do we continue on as a self-found character on to level 91? She is hitting level 90 more quickly than I expected, but I'll make a decision then as to where she progresses from here. And thanks to all the members of my stream who contributed to Merida's development.